Peace and welcome to the culture here on the Black Star Network. I'm your host, Farajii. Thank you so much for tuning in and being a part of the conversation, folks. We got a lot to talk about. Let's first talk about the latest in the case of Ralph Yarl. This is the young brother who was shot in the face and in the head by older man Andrew Lester for simply going to the wrong address. I'm going to share with you the latest out of that court case. Also, we're going to be checking in and talking with author Jeanette Davis about her book, Black Survival in White America, and get her take on all of the issues that we're facing, but more importantly, what we're doing, what people are doing around this country to ensure that Black survival is not just a thing of the past. We'll talk a little bit about that. And then later on, we're going to talk about Melanated Bar, a Black-owned skincare company that has officially marked a major milestone with $1 million in sales and how they are looking to change the skincare industry. We'll have that conversation. So stay with us. It's all happening on today's edition of The Culture right here on the Black Star Network. Let's go. All right, folks, welcome to The Culture here on the Black Star Network. I'm your host, Farajii. Thank you so much for tuning in and being a part of the conversation. Man, oh man, we are streaming on a number of different platforms. So folks, make sure you let your friends and family know that we're streaming right now. We are live. I'm checking all the way in from the great city of Los Angeles, California. And folks, happy Wednesday, first and foremost. And we are broadcasting live on a number of platforms, including our home network, blackstarnetwork.com, where you can go directly to our website, download the app for free, follow us on social media, but more importantly, you can donate to help to continue to sustain this great movement, this digital space that we have carved out to have very relevant, real conversations about issues, topics, and concerns, and most importantly, the culture of Black America. So make sure you go to blackstarnetwork.com today. Also, we're streaming live on Amazon News on your Fire TV for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week access, along with Plex TV for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week access. And we would love to have your support there. And we're streaming on Facebook and on our YouTube page. Make sure you go to Roland Martin on YouTube. And that's where you can find, folks, the great culture crew. That's right. The great, hilarious, all-informing, very enlightening culture crew. They are checking in all around the country in some parts of the globe, folks. And those are the conversations that we have with our watchers who are able to join us in the conversation. The great thing about being a part of the culture crew is that you never know if your comment is going to make it to the show. So when you have these conversations online, we're watching, you are watching, guess what? We're having a conversation with you. So join us in the conversation as we check in with our great culture crew. And I know people are checking in. I see my brother Damon Blissett, Pastor Damon Blissett. Good afternoon, Pastor. I know he always gives a shout out to the kings and queens in the chat. See Gwendolyn Scott, peace and blessings, Gwendolyn. Thank you. Hello, Gwendolyn, my sister. Thank you for checking in. Conscious Thought, I see you. Cindy D, I see you. Pretty and spiritual. Good to see you once again. Good afternoon to you, Tiana. Good afternoon. Peace and blessings, Tiana. Pauline Hurt, I'm connecting with you. Good afternoon, Pauline. Good to connect with you as well. Who else? William Irvin. Mr. William Irvin, thank you so much for checking in, sir. One of our great contributors, Corinna Denise, who had a birthday yesterday. Happy birthday, Corinna. There we go. Happy birthday, Corinna. She's a white 21. Corinna's 21 years old yesterday. That's great. She finally can drive and stuff. Happy birthday, Corinna. And all of you who are checking it, make sure y'all do send me your birthday shout outs, man. Let's do a little something in the chat. If your birthday is today, tomorrow, when your birthday is, just let us know and then we'll show y'all some love, man. But big shout out to you, Corinna, for having a fantastic birthday. I saw that picture on Instagram, Corinna. Don't act like I didn't see that picture. I saw that picture. You look like you were stepping out for your birthday. That's all good. All right, folks, let's start the conversation here. Let's start with the latest situation, the latest developments in the case of little brother Ralph Yarl. Y'all remember brother Ralph Yarl? This is the brother who was shot in the head and by the grace of God actually survived to tell his side of the story as to what happened. And he is, considering the circumstances, he's doing well by the grace of God. Let's always keep that brother in our prayers because
he doesn't
it can definitely, you know, with brain injuries and everything, we know that it's a very sensitive situation. But yesterday he was able to be a part of the hearing that for Andrew Lester. This is the older white male whose door he knocked on mistakenly, thinking that it was one neighbor's door, but it wound up being Andrew Lester's door. And Andrew Lester, look at this guy. That's all I'm gonna say. Retired aircraft mechanic, charged with first-degree assault and armed criminal action in the April 13th shooting of little brother Ralph Yarl. The trial in the case, of course, everybody had talked about this trial. Of course, it renewed major debates about gun policies and race. But it's scheduled, his trial is scheduled for October the 7th, 2024. October 7th, next year, folks. He's 84 years old. Now, he put in a not guilty plea at the hearing. And according to his attorney, Mr. Steve Salmon, he said that's largely a procedural step, and the hearing lasted just 5 minutes. Lester also pleaded not guilty soon after he was charged, but this is his first court appearance since the judge found sufficient evidence for the case to proceed to trial. Here's that latest quote from NBC News. So he said not guilty, but I mean, who's going to say that they're guilty? You know what I mean? Even though the evidence shows otherwise. But again, as Lester's attorney knows, like, this is procedural. So they have to try to prove that this wasn't a malicious intent, folks, that he did not come to the door wanting to kill a young black boy. So they're trying to prove that he came to the door fearing for his life, as his attorneys put it. You know, he was terrified and shocked as an 84-year-old man who's can't get around as well and who's afraid of the world. He's terrified and shocked about that. So that's the situation there. So it's interesting to say the least, but we will see. And again, his trial is October the 7th of 2024, folks. October 7th, 2024. I'm sure, let me just keep it real with y'all. I'm sure that they're going to, as it get closer, if his health is still in decent shape, I'm sure that they're going to try to figure something out about, you know, possibly getting him a lesser sentence or something. So we will see if that is the case, but he did make that statement. Now, I want to share this with you very quickly. And I'm just pulling this up real quick because the family of little brother Ralph Yarl, they wore some T-shirts, but they had to turn the T-shirts inside out. But the T-shirts, the supporters who supported Ralph Yarl, his mom, and some other family and community members, they wore a T-shirt that said, "Ringing or doorbell is not a crime." But the judge said that they had to turn those T-shirts inside out. But simply, they wore those T-shirts to show their support. As one family friend said, they wore the shirts that way after being told by the court the shirts were a problem. But they worn them in the past, but an order was issued on Monday, barred outbreaks, signs, or displays of any kind in the courtroom. So according to family friend Philip Barole, he said, "It is up to us to have our presence felt," when he made the complaint about not being able to wear the T-shirts inside the courtroom. And so the basis of this trial is that they have found, quote unquote, sufficient evidence for the case to proceed to trial. That's how we got to this place. they found sufficient evidence. So October 7th, 2024, which is about a year from now, we will see if what will be done in this case. All I'm going to say is I'm not necessarily holding my breath. I think there's going to be some other stuff that comes down that's going to happen because that's still a long time. But that's the way the court system is set up there. And so we will have to keep our eyes on that. All right, folks, I got to take a quick pause. When we come forward, let's talk a little bit about what it means to be Black and surviving in white America. We're going to be checking in with author Jeanette Davis to get her take on this. It's based on her book and so much more. Big culture convos coming up next. So stay with me. We're just getting started here on The Culture, right here on the Black Star Network.
On his first day in office, with the country in crisis, President Biden got to work for us. Cutting Black child poverty in half, more money for Black entrepreneurs, millions of new, good-paying jobs. He's lowered the cost of living and prescription drugs. But there's more to do. He gets it because we all deserve dignity, safety, respect, and a chance to do more than just get by, but to get ahead.
I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
Pull up a chair, take your seat. The Black Tape with me, Dr. Greg Carr, here on the Black Star Network. Every week, we'll take a deeper dive into the world we're living in. Join the conversation only on the Black Star Network.
I'm Farajii Muhammad, live from LA. And this is The Culture. The Culture is a two-way conversation. You and me. We talk about the stories, politics, the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. So join our community every day at 3 p.m. Eastern and let your voice be heard. Hey, we're all in this together. So let's talk about it and see what kind of trouble we can get into. It's The Culture, weekdays at 3, only on the Black Star Network.
When you talk about Blackness and what happens in Black culture, we're about covering these things that matter to us, speaking to our issues and concerns.
This is a genuine people-powered movement.
There's a lot of stuff that we're not getting. You get it, and you spread the word.
We wish to plead our own cause. Too long have others spoken for us. We cannot tell our own story if we can't pay for it. This is about covering us. Invest in Black-owned media. Your dollars matter. We don't have to keep asking them to cover our stuff. So please support us in what we do, folks. We want to hit 2,000 people, $50 this month, raise $100,000. We're behind 100,000, so we want to hit that. Y'all money makes this possible. Checks and money orders go to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. The Cash App is $RM Unfiltered. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle is Roland at RolandSMartin.com. Folks, Black Star Network is here.
I'm real revolutionary right now.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
Stay Black. I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, there's a difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?
All right, folks, welcome back to The Culture here on the Black Star Network. I'm your host, Farajii Muhammad. Just kind of give you a quick update on the case of little brother Ralph Yarl, who was shot in the head by 84-year-old Andrew Lester. And I just want to take a quick moment because looking at some of your comments in the chat, and folks, we're streaming live on YouTube. Just go to Roland Martin on YouTube and you could be a part of the online culture crew for the day. But I just wanted to say this before we bring on our first guest. Many of you are saying the things that I was thinking. Janice, my sister Janice Walker, you said, why wait till next year? Why not next month? I don't know. I don't know, Janice, because that's what I thought when I read the story. It's like, man, that's a year away. He's 84. He already looks like, he's already looking like he's not going to make it. So I have no idea. My sister Corinna, you checked in and said during the election season. What a coincidence. Tiana, you said due to his age, they need to speed up that trial date, and that man has a history of being racist. The ABX girl, you said in just in time. Pretty and spiritual, you checked in and said no matter the age, he should do his time. If it were a black man, they would lock him up. October 7th, folks, 2024, for a situation that seems pretty clear cut. Again, this is not about whether he pulled the trigger or not. We know that. This is a situation about his intent. Was he afraid and terrified of his life? Or was he malicious in his shooting and attack on little brother Ralph, y'all? And y'all remember, he shot him twice. He shot him, said a couple words, shot him again. So that's what the defense attorney for Andrew Lester has to prove. Like, no, it wasn't malicious. He was terrified. He was scared. Right. So we will see. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not gonna hold my breath. It's expecting he's going to. That's a long time, man. The stress and strain of getting locked up and going to trial and that whole process, that's a lot on a younger guy, younger man, let alone 84 years old. So we will have to see. We will have to see. But this speaks exactly to where we are in this country, folks. And this is where I want to bring in my very special guest, my first guest for the day, because we're finding that these cases are happening. We hear about these incidents more and more. And I think that many of us are realizing that we're in a space of not just living, not just maintaining, but we're in a space of surviving. And that is the essence of the book of my next guest. The book is called Black Survival in White America. So that's the essence of it. Put that, if we could put that back up there, yeah. From past history to the next century, and we're going to talk a little bit about this. Because we are all, if you're black, I don't care what part of the world that you're in, but if you're black in this country, you're surviving. I don't care how much money you make, what neighborhood you're in, what car you drive, what clothes you wear, what's your profession. We're all surviving. Because at any point, and I know many of us don't like to think about this. I personally don't want to think about it, but of course, it crosses the mind that at any time, something could go down where your life might be put in jeopardy. The lives of the people that you love, your family, your friends, your community might be put in jeopardy. That is part of the burden of being black in America, that we wake up thinking that when the police even just drive by, you know what I'm saying? They drive behind us. We may not even, how many of us just, when the police drive behind us, you react in a visceral way, right? You're like making sure you got your registration, your heart beat, your blood is rushing, you know, you start sweating, you're like, whew. breathing differently. I'm serious. And this is Black in America, man. This is Black in America. So I want to bring on my very special guest, Jeanette Davis, who's the author of this book. And as we talk about this and having some very real conversations. So Sister Jeanette, thank you so much for joining us here on The Culture this afternoon. How are you, my dear sister?
I'm fine, thank you. And thank you for having me on your show.
Absolutely. First and foremost, I got to give you a big shout out because you put in some work in my hometown, the great city of Baltimore.
Yes, I did.
And you put in some work on the station that I came into. If it wasn't for the station, there would be no Farajii Muhammad as host of The Culture Today, the great WEAA at Morgan State University.
Yes, yes, yes. We have that in common. Thank you.
We definitely have that in common.
Yes.
Sister Jeanette, I am so grateful to have you on to just chat with us a little bit about some of the work that you're doing. For those who may not know, you have been working in a lot of different spaces. More importantly, you have done, I would say an analysis of where we are in our culture. Of course, we're looking at history and politics, and we talk about those things heavy. But we try to create some sense of a bridge that the things that we've seen and read about in the past, how it relates to where we are currently, right? And so I wanted to bring you on to have that type of conversation with you because history is great. Politics is great. But the real, and this is what I truly believe, Sister Jeanette, the real motivating factor for a lot of us comes from our culture. That the culture right now in this country for Black people is all over the place, for lack of a better word, right? Like there are some affirming elements, and then there are some destructive elements of our culture, right? Some things that are put on us by the system of white supremacy, and some things that we impose on ourselves because of our shortcomings, historical experience, and all of those things. So, but we still are kind of working it through ourselves. First and foremost, so laying that as the groundwork, talk to us about this book, Black Survival in White America. What was the inspiration behind this, Sister Jeanette?
Well, the inspiration was the research that I've done so many years. I'm 75 years old, so I've been researching this since my 20s. The big question I had in mind was, where were we before slavery? Where did we come from? Who is God? Why should we worship this God that they're telling us to worship? What is the historical background for all of this? So I began to research, and as I researched and questioned and prayed on it, certain people came into my life that guided me, like Dr. Asa Hilliard. When I went to boarding school, Dr. Arena Cornelia Mallory, Mary McLeod Bethune, whom I met there at the school, and so many other people who kind of guided me towards the answers. So when I did the research and I looked at the history was so golden. It was so beautiful, and it's in our DNA still. We haven't lost it. We've just been ignorant to the history. And that's why I felt it was very, very important to write about this history and to look at how we were before slavery, what happened to us during slavery, and what we have to do to get out of the slave mentality that we got caught up in the self-hatred. So this is what inspired me to write the book. And I covered a lot of areas in the book. I covered self-identity, which is why we look the way we do, why we are the way we are, and how different are we from Europeans, and why are we that different? And I covered also the family structures and our attitude towards education, our attitude towards each other, and what is the self-destructive nature that we have. And that is because of the programming from the cradle to the grave that has been implemented against our people. So what I'm trying to do in my writing is to awaken that DNA within us, the greatness that is within us, to awaken the self-assuredness and the self-love. We have to start there first. once we get that self-love, we won't find our communities with bloodshed everywhere, brother against brother, sister against sister, because when you love yourself, you begin to love the image of others who look like you. So this is the inspiration for my writing.
You about to take me to church. You about to take me to church. You about to take me to the mosque. You about to take me there. Look, I got to take a quick pause, Sister Jeanette. When we come back, let's delve a little bit deeper into that book and into that thesis statement that you put out there. Folks, I want you to join us in the conversation. Y'all know we about to go to work. Y'all know, crew, we are about to get in some work today with my Sister Jeanette Davis, author of the book, Black Survival in White America. Join me in a conversation, post your comments, your questions, and we'll bring them to the light in a few moments. But stay with us. We just getting started here on The Culture on the Black Star Network.
President Biden has delivered for Black America. More funding for Black entrepreneurs. Millions of new good-paying jobs. He's lowering the cost of medications and the cost of living. Joe Biden is delivering for us, and that's the facts.
Pull up a chair, take your seat. The Black Tape with me, Dr. Greg Carr, here on the Black Star Network. Every week, we'll take a deeper dive into the world we're living in. Join the conversation only on the Black Star Network.
I'm Farajii Muhammad, live from LA. And this is The Culture. The Culture is a two-way conversation. You and me. We talk about the stories, politics, the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. So join our community every day at 3 p.m. Eastern and let your voice be heard. Hey, we're all in this together. So let's talk about it and see what kind of trouble we can get into. It's The Culture, weekdays at 3, only on the Black Star Network.
When you talk about blackness and what happens in Black culture, we're about covering these things that matter to us, speaking to our issues and concerns.
This is a genuine people-powered movement.
There's a lot of stuff that we're not getting. You get it, and you spread the word.
We wish to plead our own cause. Too long have others spoken for us. We cannot tell our own story if we can't pay for it. This is about covering us. Invest in Black-owned media. Your dollars matter. We don't have to keep asking them to cover our stuff. So please support us in what we do, folks. We want to hit 2,000 people, $50 this month, raise $100,000. We're behind 100,000, so we want to hit that. Y'all money makes this possible. Check some money orders. Go to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. The Cash App is $RM Unfiltered. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle is RolandS.Martin.com. Folks, Black Star Network is here.
Oh, no punches! I'm real revolutionary right now.
Support this man, Black media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, this difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?
Folks, welcome back to the show. Welcome to The Culture here on the Black Star Network. We have been checking in with Sister Jeanette Davis, who is author of the book, Black Survival in White America. And just getting this conversation kicked off. And this sister is already She got my heart beating a little bit faster right now because I'm getting excited, Sister Jeanette, because I know that you have a lot of wisdom to share with us and the great culture crew that we have, our community here. And thinking about all of the research. I mean, if you are put in and I have to say, you look phenomenal at 75 years old.
Thank you. Thank you much.
You look, and look, the crew members are thinking the same thing. Everybody like 75, damn. God has certainly been good for you, sis, and good to you.
Thank you.
But looking at the work that you put in, a couple of questions come to mind. The first one is that we often hear like individual sisters and brothers like yourself, scholars, researchers, talking and really emphasizing the importance of history, making the connection for people to see themselves differently. I'm talking about for Black folks to see themselves beyond or before the period of our enslavement, to really connect the dots with people. But we are living in a culture, Sister Jeanette, as you know, where history is no longer being revered, nor is it preserved. And I'm not saying just by white people, I'm talking about by Black people. We are pushing away this historical connection. How do we start the process to regain that historical connection? Because I'm looking at the next generation. I'm thinking about those coming behind me, those in their 30s and their 20s, who don't have that historical reference, right? I grew up in the time, I'm in my 40s, so I grew up in the 80s and 90s. There was still what some people would say consciousness in hip hop music, for example. I'm the child of hip hop. So how do we connect the dots for those 30s and the 20s and even so some of us who are in their 50s and 60s who just don't care about the history, who say, you know what, that's not going to be the thing that brings me in to understanding who I am, the identity of my people. What do we say to them? How do we bring them in the fold?
Well, those without knowledge of history are doomed to repeat it. So we don't want to repeat slavery. We don't want to be pulled back into that because of the slave mentality. So it starts in the home. You know, we have to educate each other. And that's my goal, to get out here and educate as many young people as possible. And I have been received greatly by these young people. And they want to know more and more and more. So I have a mailing that I have to do shortly in a few days of the listing, the 300 book listing of our history by Dr. Asa Hilliard, who gave that to me about 35 years ago. And I'm sending that listing out to quite a few young people who are very, very interested. So they want to know, they have that hunger. They're looking for something. They're looking for something beyond what is here now, what's happening now. We have to let them know that it exists in such a way that they will receive it. One such DVD set is Hidden Colors. You know, to have children sit down and look at this, to see where they come from, see what they're made of. And that hasn't gone away. It's in the DNA. And our people are rising. The only country, the only continent in the world where the population is growing is Africa. So there's a reason for that. What is God Almighty doing? You know, if all of the other countries are now having low birth rates. So we know that the destruction, that there's a war against our people going on, and our people need to know there's a war, a quiet, silent war. But if we don't tap in to find out what that is, and you yourself with your show is an awakening to people, letting them know what's going on in the world. So what do we do about that? We start with ourselves and to bring ourselves together, regardless of our different opinions, our gender problems with each other, whatever it is, we have to find some point of unity that will save our people as a whole.
So I want to ask you about that, because you were Dr. Asa Hilliard, one of the great thinkers of our people. You're one of your mentors, correct?
Well, I received a lot of information from him. I met him at DOMI, which is the Defense Equal Opportunity Management Institute in Orlando, Florida. I was in the military, and I was changing jobs from finance to equal opportunity. So he was one of the speakers, and he came down there and he taught us about his view on Free Your Mind, Return to the Source, African Origins of Civilization, to show everybody in the class that we have a royal history and we are royal blood. And that turned a lot of white minds because there was cognitive dissonance in that audience. They couldn't believe what he was saying. So after the class, I spoke to him and I said, I have to stay connected to you because I'm running the Equal Opportunity Program, or I'm a part of it, I should say, the Equal Opportunity Program in Maryland. And I would like to have you come during one of our teaching sessions for the military. So he agreed to come, but the military wouldn't pay his lodging and his transport. So I kept in touch with him and he kept giving me information and letting me know where he was going to be and giving me, and I've had questions and he would answer them. All this was long distance. I did not see him again until he came to Towson University, and I was a student at Morgan State. And I was an older student because I had to go in the military to get the GI Bill in order to go to school. So he was there and I asked him if I could tape his presentation. And he said, of course, but one thing I would request of you, never to sell it. And I never have. And that was, oh my gosh, in the 80s. And I have it on DVD and I only let people watch it. And I have it on my website where they can go look at it, but I've never sold it. I just share it with people. And I encourage people and the young people, I said, go to my website. There's so much information. If you don't want to read the books, it's in video. That's what you like. You like electronics? I have it for you. Go there. There's so much information. I tell them where to go to get it. A lot of the young people just don't know where to go to get the information. When they ask me questions, I said, well, have you Googled it? No, they want to tap my mind instead of them going to look for themselves. So I have to teach them the art of researching things on their own.
And do you think, and we're going to have to take a quick pause on this, but do you feel like we are deluding ourselves when we are making progress, when we say that Black people in this country are making progress? Do you think that we are making, based upon your history, based upon your personal experience, do you think we're making the progress that we seem to tout? Are we further along after coming through chattel slavery?
I believe that our Creator is guiding us toward a higher plane. And we are moving up because we're moving up. If you look around at the professionals and how many Black professionals there are and what they're doing and how they're operating, and you look at Africa and what they're doing, how they're operating, even though the colonial forces are still there, and milking them of all their resources and because we got to remember now, a lot of us have problems with Africans because when they come here, you seem to have a discord, but there should not be a discord because they were going through colonization the same time as we were going through slavery. And they were suffering just like we were suffering. So we have to understand them. And once we understand them and come into one accord with them, then we can begin to see a greater growth. But I believe in time, and I truly believe this, and this is what I pray for daily, that our people will wake up and come into one accord with each other, and that we will continue to grow and to learn about us and to learn who we are in the world. There's so many people around the world who know who we are. There's so many countries where people are saying, Black people, wake up. You're our saviors. What are you doing? Why don't you wake up? We know who you are. Why don't you know who you are? So we have to cut through the ignorance and we have to educate and we have to pull them aside and let them know that they are great within themselves. And we see it all the time in the news. 12-year-old who created a gynecological instrument that surgeons can use. You see, a Black 12-year-old. Look, and on my website, I have the patented, not all of them, but quite a few patented inventions by Black people. You know, a lot of people don't know that everything, like Dr. Asa Hilliard said. He said that we've been told that we've done nothing in the world, but when we do research, we find we've done everything in the world. And it's been stolen from us because of the situation that we were placed in. So we have to regain that was lost. And the truth is coming out all over the world. The truth is coming out. There was I think it's 2019 K is the video. If they look it up on Google and look at it, it shows how the Nubian Africans built the pyramids. You see, And the Asians put that video together. So you see there's so much information, so much hidden truth that's coming to the surface. Like, for instance, the truth about the Vatican, that they have miles of relics and artifacts and books about Africans that they were refused to release to the world. When I went to Germany in the military, I went to school over there, and this German professor, he took me into a library and he said, I want to tell you something that very few Black people know. And he showed me where there are 250,000 books about us that the United States refused to allow in the universities here. So
we're gonna have to put. I want to put a pause on that one. I gotta take another quick pause, Sister Jeanette.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
But wow. Yeah. Look, I gotta take a quick pause. I want your crew. I want y'all to post your comments on Roland Martin's YouTube page. Let me know your thoughts as we're talking to Sister Jeanette Davis, author of the book Black Survival in White America. What's your take on this, folks? And what are what's going through your head around this as we talk about Black survival in this country? We're talking about the history, and more importantly, talking about awakening. Do you believe that we are at a time of an awakening in this country? Join me in the conversation. Again, we're streaming live on YouTube under Roland Martin, on Facebook. Post your thoughts, and then we will do our best to get to all of your comments. But stay with us. We still got a lot more to chat with Sister Jeanette Davis about right here on The Culture on the Black Star Network.
On his first day in office, with the country in crisis, President Biden got to work for us. Cutting Black child poverty in half, more money for Black entrepreneurs, millions of new, good-paying jobs. He's lowered the cost of living and prescription drugs. But there's more to do. He gets it because we all deserve dignity, safety, respect, and a chance to do more than just get by, but to get ahead.
I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
When you talk about Blackness and what happens in Black culture, we're about covering these things that matter to us, speaking to our issues and concerns.
This is a genuine people-powered movement.
There's a lot of stuff that we're not getting. You get it, and you spread the word.
We wish to plead our own cause. Too long have others spoken for us. We cannot tell our own story if we can't pay for it. This is about covering us. Invest in Black-owned media. Your dollars matter. We don't have to keep asking them to cover our stuff. So please support us in what we do, folks. We want to hit 2,000 people, $50 this month, raise $100,000. We're behind 100,000, so we want to hit that. Y'all money makes this possible. Check some money orders. Go to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. The Cash App is $RM Unfiltered. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle is Roland at RolandSMartin.com.
I'm Farajii Muhammad, live from LA. And this is The Culture. The Culture is a two-way conversation. You and me. We talk about the stories, politics, the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. So join our community every day at 3 p.m. Eastern and let your voice be heard. Hey, we're all in this together. So let's talk about it and see what kind of trouble we can get into. It's The Culture, weekdays at 3, only on the Black Star Network.
Folks, Black Star Network is here.
Oh, no punches! I'm real revolutionary right now.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
Stay Black. I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, this difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart. Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?
All right, folks, welcome back to The Culture here on the Black Star Network. I'm your host, Farajii Muhammad. Thank you so much for tuning in and being a part of the conversation. Folks, as we kick off the second half of the show, I just want to advise you, make sure y'all check out the first half. We just talked a little bit about the recent developments of the case of Ralph Yarl, the young black boy who was shot in the head by Andrew Lester, and some of the latest in that particular case. And then we kicked off the conversation with our very special guest, Sister Jeanette Davis, author of the book, Black Survival in White America. As we have our big cultural convo today, this is it, folks, where we're talking to our sister today. So we're streaming on all platforms, various platforms, including blackstarnetwork.com, Amazon News on your Fire TV, as well as Plex TV. And of course, we're on social media on Facebook and YouTube. And YouTube is where you can go under Roland Martin's YouTube page. Go there, join the chat, and be a part of the conversation as we have this discussion with Sister Jeanette Davis. Sister Jeanette, again, we thank you so much for taking time to spend some time with us today to talk about your book and what you're seeing, more importantly, because Black America is at peril. I think that we're at a major crossroads. I do believe, as you mentioned earlier, that we are making some progress, but the progress that I'm seeing, Sister Jeanette, is not in policy. The progress is not in economics, but it's consciousness.
Yes.
That we are growing in consciousness. And I know some people would like to think, oh man, we're still dead. And some of us are. Okay, I truly believe that some of us are. But I hear more Black people talking about community, us, we, even when big cultural moments occur, whether you're talking about a Coach Deion Sanders or whether you're talking about anything that's happening with our culture, there's always there seems to be, some people might be with the foolishness, but then I hear a chorus of our people who are like, this is not good for us anymore. You know, talking bad about women in music is not good for us. Promoting gangster lifestyle is not good for us. I'm seeing conversations like you mentioned earlier, talking about the gender differences, Black men talking about what other Black men can do to support each other, to support the women in our lives. These conversations are happening. So how do I guess I'm laying this out because I'm trying to get a better sense from you. Like we could talk about the history piece, and I think that's important. This is why your book is so critical for these discussions. But when we're looking at the current landscape of where we are in this culture, how do we measure the progress? What do we say? Because some people measure it just only in political terms. Some people say, oh no, look at the buying power, the $1 trillion buying power that Black people have. We do have power in the economic space. How would you, as a researcher, scholar, one that's a part of the culture and the community, how do you measure how much progress that we're making?
Through the awakening of the people, the consciousness that you were talking about. See, that's why history is so very important. Remember in December, when the Europeans were saying that the end of the Mayan calendar was the end of the world, December 21st, 2012. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Our Nubian ancestors in Egypt, in the hieroglyphics, stated that there are 5 consciousness cycles. That was the end of a cycle. That's all it was. And the Mayans have been proven to come from Egypt. So they have the same calendar in Egypt. That's how they know that they came from there. So at the end of that cycle, a moon, which is the death of consciousness, on December the 21st, 2012, that was the end of our moon, which I didn't understand why Farrakhan, Minister Farrakhan, has said they will rule for 6,000 years. Mm-hmm. Well, the cycle of our moon is 5,000 to 6,000 years. Now we're in Kheper, Kheper, which is the dawn of consciousness, when people wake up. In the Bible, it even states it. It states that nothing shall be hidden. And this is the time in the cycle in which nothing shall be hidden. And I've been watching it all over the world. I've been watching all of these new discoveries where they're saying we have to rewrite history because everything is in Africa. And everything is everything we believe to be true We have to change the books because it's not true. This is a new reality for us. So we have to stay tuned in to understand we have to, that's why I love history. I love history because it gives us a yardstick. It gives us a tool to use to see what progress we really have made. And the progress should be in our consciousness since so much was taken from us. So now we have to rebuild that. We don't need a church to tell us there's a God. We feel it inside of ourselves because we are gods. Christ said it. Did I not say ye are gods and you are children of the Most High? Okay. So we have to understand that not from the point of ego, but they understand that from the point of who we are when we walk on this earth. We are master creators. Everybody in the world has taken from us all of the things that we create. The worst thing I think that happened to us was when the rappers degraded the Black woman. There's no race of men on the planet who's ever done that. And that disturbed me more than anything because that showed me the consciousness of certain Black men and the misogyny that they are enclosed in, which has affected the young people. So we have to turn that around, for them to think of a woman in those negative words. So these are things that we have to be conscious of. We look at history. History gives us direction. Once we get direction, we sit down, we kind of figure out what is the master plan, because when governments, they look 150 years, 200 years ahead.
Yeah.
If they can predict to us where we will be 50 years, 100 years from now, if we do not put a stopgap in there.
So that's what I'm so, and Sister Jeanette, I'm so happy that you brought that up, because just as much as there is an effort to raise our consciousness, regardless of where people go, right? Like whatever sources people go to, whether it's Black Star Network, whether it's religion, whatever the place may be, there is also a concerted effort from the enemy of our rise.
Yes.
The enemy, and I'm not just talking about white people.
You're
right. Because that's skin color. That's I'm talking about essence. I'm talking about mindset, right? Because we know Black people can think devilish. So we know that there's a concerted effort, and some of these efforts can seem to overwhelm or outweigh the positive efforts of our consciousness. Some of us may be coming to consciousness, and then boom, something happens in the culture, and we kind of get pushed back a little bit. The same way we see in politics. Like you might have a voting rights bill, and then boom, you have a president like a Trump or other folks who are in political spaces, political power, that roll back on that. You know what I'm saying? So there's always like this give and take type of thing that's happening here. And I think that a lot of people, Sister Jeanette, people are getting frustrated. And I'm saying Black folks are getting frustrated, and we kind of like bow out of the race, bow out of the struggle, the fight for liberation. We bow out because we're like, we're never going to get ahead. And we become apathetic. We become defeated because we feel like, man, this ain't gonna never change.
Well, this goes into my newest book. You just rode right into it.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
Master Being Human. And master being human means to take full control, or to master your five senses, thoughts, and emotions. When you do that, everything outside of yourself that is trying to affect, because we're being bombarded every day with stuff. It's not what bombards you, it's how you react to it. But you have to understand there's a technique that we can use to master ourselves. And once we master ourselves, the whole world opens up to us. There's nothing and no one who can stop us from our elevation. But we must first master ourselves. We have to get rid of self-hatred. We have to adhere to self-love and have it grow within us, because that's all the spirit is, pure love. And once we elevate ourselves to a certain point, then we send that love out to people who look like us and to other people. And we begin to understand that our purpose here is service to one another. And once we understand that, then we begin to adhere to each other, come close to each other, and then we move. But if we don't understand the blocks, the building blocks of our humanity, and understand self, then how can we understand the world and the people around us? We have to have some kind of guide. And this master being human was the guide I was given. I don't say that I know everything, and I haven't mastered being human, but I understand where my elevation point is. And what happens, and I'm at a place now, nothing can disturb me. I don't care what happens in the world. I look at it and I said, okay, that's fine. That doesn't affect me. I know that everything in the world has an effect on me because it's happening in the world, but I don't let it enter into my spirit. I don't let it affect my peace. I don't let it affect my struggle. I don't let it affect the teaching that I know that I'm here to do, to help my people out of the quagmire that we're in. So once we understand certain things about our humanity and understand that we need to change what's been going on, because Dr. Joy DeGruy has a very good presentation that I have on my website also, post-traumatic slave disorder. We have to understand the effect slavery had on us and how that is embedded in our culture. We have to get that out of our culture. We have to remove it from our culture. We have to understand why we react the way we do, because that is embedded in us, and we have to raise it out of ourselves and out of our people. So there's so much that we need to know, and education is the point, not the school education, the education that we get from each other and from home. This is what we need. And no matter what our situation is in society, slavery was the situation at one time. We're not there anymore. Now we're on a national plantation, okay, where they don't have to enslave our bodies now because they have our minds enslaved. So we have to break through that. And the George Floyd incident made the whole world become aware of that. And that was the 400th year that the Bible says we're going to be in slavery for 400 years. That was the end of the 400 years. And that was the beginning of us getting rid of the slave mentality. So we have to keep teaching, as you're doing, as Martin is doing. We have to keep going out there and influencing people and letting them know, hey, there's another way. But I just need to give you direction. You just need direction. They're thirsty for knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. And we prayed for it, and God has given it to us. We have to share it. And that's why I write. That's why you do what you do. Yep. That's why Mr. Martin does what he does. And that's why so many of our people are doing it. So I have no fear of our future. Our future is golden. Why? Because God is in the details, and the God within us, connecting to the God in the universe, is our navigation.
Come on. I told you you're going to take me there. I told you, Sister Jeanette, you were going to take me there, sister. Let me share with what our culture crew is saying. Folks are checking in from around the country, Sister Jeanette. Let me tell you something. There are very few times where the chat kind of goes quiet. And the chat is going quiet right now because you're talking, because you're saying something. You know, normally the chat people are chatting, but I think a lot of people are listening. So crew, I know y'all listening because y'all quiet today. Real Brooklyn checking in. You said agree. Removing the slave mentality is key in moving forward. I'm glad she said it. Every time a Black leader says something like that, they are called sellouts. That we have to remove the slave mentality. What's your thoughts on what my brother Real Brooklyn said, that Black leaders, when we criticize, when we are saying, look, we have to remove the slave mentality, we got to get it into a new way of thinking. Some of them are called sellouts. What's your take on that, Sister Jeanette?
Well, we have to get rid of slave mentality. Slave mentality is us assisting the oppressor in holding us down and believing what they say. Instead of, I'm going to fight against this, I'm going to go along with it because that's the best we can do right now. I'm saying the best we can do is to transform our minds. Once you transform your mind, then you transform your situation. You come out of that you was in. And that slave mentality, you have to understand what slave mentality is. And that slave mentality is going along with the programming. We have to remove ourselves from the programming. When I was a kid, I used to look at, I was born in 47. So 1950 is when television came on the scene. It was invented. And they used to have cowboy shows. And the good cowboy had the white hat on. The bad cowboy had the black hat on. So of course, the one with the white hat, and the hats never came off when they were fighting on the ground or wherever. And the one with the white hat always won. Then there was gasoline commercials. with the white car and the black car. Of course, the white car always won. So that was the programming, and the cartoons, all of that, everything that was coming on in the media was a programming us to be inferior and programming whites to be superior. So once you understand that programming and you stopgap that with your children and see it within society and become aware of it, that's getting rid of the slave mentality, okay? Because you're not going along with the programming anymore. What you're doing is you begin to think as an individual, and you're also beginning to think, okay, so white supremacy is using this to cause me to feel this way about myself, and I refuse to do that. So I'm gonna break through this programming and go and do some research and find out who I really am and who I was. And when you found out who you were and who you are deep within yourself, I knew I was something better than that. I knew I was a queen. I knew I was a king. I just couldn't put my finger on it, but I knew it was in me because I feel it. It's all through my heart. It's in my soul. It's in my spirit. I know that I'm beautiful. So, and if you don't believe you're beautiful, look at everybody who's imitating you, trying to get your lips, trying to get your butt, trying to get your hair, trying to get your skin tone. You see, shouldn't that be indication that something's wrong somewhere? Those who are bleaching their skin all over the world. I said, now, it would be amazing to me, and I hope I live long enough to see what happens when it's no longer white supremacy no longer exists, and now all of these people who bleach themselves want to be black again, and they can't get to it.
That's called, Jeanette, that's called being on the wrong side of history.
There you go.
I have to take a quick pause. When we come forward, more conversation with our dear sister, author of the book, Black Survival in White America. Stay with me, folks. You're tuning into The Culture here on the Black Star Network.
President Biden has delivered for Black America. More funding for Black entrepreneurs. Millions of new good-paying jobs. He's lowering the cost of medications and the cost of living. Joe Biden is delivering for us, and that's the facts.
Folks, Black Star Network is here.
Oh, no punches! I'm real revolutionary right now.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
Stay black. I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, there's a difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart. Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?
I'm Farajii Muhammad, live from LA. And this is The Culture. The Culture is a two-way conversation. You and me. We talk about the stories, politics, the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. So join our community every day at 3 p.m. Eastern and let your voice be heard. Hey, we're all in this together. So let's talk about it and see what kind of trouble we can get into. It's The Culture, weekdays at 3, only on the Black Star Network.
When you talk about blackness and what happens in Black culture, we're about covering these things that matter to us, speaking to our issues and concerns.
This is a genuine people-powered movement.
There's a lot of stuff that we're not getting. You get it, and you spread the word.
We wish to plead our own cause. Too long have others spoken for us. We cannot tell our own story if we can't pay for it. This is about covering us. Invest in Black-owned media. Your dollars matter. We don't have to keep asking them to cover our stuff. So please support us in what we do, folks. We want to hit 2,000 people, $50 this month, raise $100,000. We're behind 100,000, so we want to hit that. Y'all money makes this possible. Check some money orders. Go to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. Cash App is $RM Unfiltered. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle is Roland at RolandSMartin.com.
Welcome back to the show, folks. We have been checking in and talking to Sister Jeanette Davis, author of the book, Black Survival in White America. That's the name of our big culture convo for today. And Sister Jeanette, I have to say that I am just thoroughly enjoying listening to your insight and your thoughts and your take on where we are. I feel like certain conversations like this give us perspective, but they also motivate us, right? Because it's so easy to lose faith about who you are. And I'm saying, as a Black person in this country, you can lose faith. You can lose the sense of self. And so when we hear very important voices like yours come on to affirm what we already know, but sometimes just going through life day in and day out, you kind of forget. You not forget, but you just kind of like, oh, I don't know if that's really me. But to hear a griot and to hear a woman of your stature, of your brilliance, just to kind of say, no, we can't give up at 75 years old.
Yeah, and something else I want to share with you.
Yes, ma'am.
And that is reparations.
Come on. This is a perfect place to talk about this, Sister Jeanette. It's a perfect place to talk about this.
I was on my way to the dentist one day, and all of a sudden I had a spiritual awareness, and I just turned on my phone recorder, and I started recording it as it was downloading to me. And when I got home, I got on the computer and I wrote it down. And when I wrote it down, I said, thank you, God. Thank you, my Lord. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We must not be afraid to take action. So what I did was I looked up all of the addresses of every Black Caucus member, and of course the vice president. I sent every single one of them a copy of the reparations package that was downloaded to me from my creator. Now, I don't know when this is going to happen, how it's going to happen, but the gentleman who had already sent a reparation package in for Black people to get a certain amount, which was just a few $1,000s, and he's the only one who replied. And I told him, I said, I respect what you did, but it's not enough. And I have in that package, since we were in slavery for 246 years, that we should, and plus all of the time beyond that, that the reparations package should last that long through that many generations of our people. And I indicate every single aspect, even those who are in foreign lands, who are expatriates, they should take advantage of this, or this should be available to them. So I would like to send you a copy of that. I can email a copy. I just need your email. I'll email you a copy of that. I know that they're going to hate the fact that I'm bringing it out into the public, but we cannot have any fear when we're fighting for justice. So I am sending you a copy of that. And I've shown it to a couple of people, and they say, well, they'll never give us that. I said, you never know why it was given to me to put out there. I said, they must going to be placed in a position at some point in time where they're going to need us so badly, they'll give us anything we want. So you just never know the mind of God. So I just put it out there, and then I think it was last month, 3 Black Caucus members came out saying that Black people for reparations should get $14 trillion. Now, I had already sent them. I didn't put I put different numbers on different things of what we should get. But if they figured it out, that is that much. So that tells me that they were listening to what I sent them, even though they did not respond to me personally.
Right.
So, we have to be activists. We cannot just sit back. I can't just sit back and write and hope everybody reads it. I can't just come on shows. I have to be an activist and actually go out there and do something that's going to affect somebody. And I sent it to those who are in power. And I told them in a letter, I said, you are the ones who are representing us. If you're going to represent us, I just implore you to do this at a level that is significant to what we have suffered. And at least this is the start of the negotiation point. Should be the start of the negotiation. And then if it needs to go down, fine, then we'll still get a great measure. But but the reparations should be placed in a position where you don't just go give people money. You set up operations and systems and things of that nature.
No, I'm in full support. I'm in full support, and I'm in total agreement with that, because that's what I would like to see come if we're having a national conversation about reparations. That it's just not checks,
right?
But there are some other things coming in, whether it's like you said, opening up systems, land ownership, educational opportunities. I mean, you're talking about generations of Black people who have suffered as a result of what we've experienced in chattel slavery. So I'm in full support. What would you say to those Black policymakers, those political leaders that are convening in Washington, D.C. this week, the Congressional Black Caucus? They're having their 52nd annual legislative convention. What would you say to them? What should be the number one priority, or the number one or number two priorities for Black America at this point?
The 1 and 2 should be the protection of our youth and our people with the police reform, and let it be real police reform. Okay, and let it be something real and not something they talk about, and then the police on the beat, they do whatever they want to do. The second thing should be reparations, and the reparations should last 246 years. Okay? It should last 246 years, and they should be fighting for us. That's what they're there for. They're not there to collect their little monthly checks and get their benefits and just sit around and be agreeable. It's time to be disagreeable.
I'm gonna just let that sit out there, Sister Jeanette, because you said it. It's time to be disagreeable.
Sure.
It's time to be disagreeable. We have about 30 seconds left. What would be the final remark? What would you like for folks that are my culture crew, our community here, for the rest of folks that are just streaming the show? What is the big thing that you want us to take away from this conversation, this very special conversation we had with you today, Sister Jeanette?
Is to keep educating each other. Find out what we need to know. Educate our people on every level. Educate the parents, so when the kids come home from school getting all that, the lies and the bad information, correct that information. Let them know that, no, that's not what is real. This is what's real. You don't have to go back and say anything to them in school, but as long as you know within yourself the truth. So we need to educate our people. That's the first step. Once we educate our people, then they'll have a sense of self-worth that will be greater than what they have right now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Sister Jeanette, it has truly been an honor, privilege, and pleasure to just share some time with you today. Your book is called Black Survival in White America. Folks can go directly to you to get a copy of this book, as they're talking about from past history to the next century. And what is the website for you, Sister Jeanette?
My website is www.JeanetteDavis.com. My email, if they want to purchase the book, is JAY, A, D as in David, D as in David, S as in Sam, 80@gmail.com.
Let's put that out there for one more time for me, dear sister.
Okay, the website, www.Jeanette, JeanetteDavis.com. And the email is JAYADDS80@gmail.com.
Awesome. Sister Jeanette, it has been, and let's pull up the website if we can, Lisa, Maddie, and Keenan. There we go. Sister Jeanette Davis right there. Beautiful picture of our sister.
Thank you.
Who is just dropping so many jewels, and you're welcome. And, you know, it is certainly an honor. You are one of the great elders of our community. And I'm saying that with the utmost respect, because you have a lot to give and you're still working.
Yes.
You haven't stopped working. You haven't stopped teaching. You haven't stopped activating. You're still working. Behind
the scenes.
Look, they say elders for wisdom and guidance, young people for war. I'm on the front line. You can always pour into me, and let's keep this momentum going. But I can't thank you enough. The crew is checking in from all around the country. Folks are just saying thank you. They truly appreciate the insight, and God willing, we'll try to bring you back on again, because this election is a pivotal time in our country. And we're about 412 days, I think it is, from the national election. So much can happen in this country, and we need to make sure that our elders, our griots, our light posts like yourself can continue to give us guidance on how to move through this dark period, and not just go from a surviving standpoint, because I'm in full agreement with you there, but to go to a thriving standpoint where we're actually seeing the progress that we want to make. And the first, of course, raising our consciousness. So I cannot thank you enough for your time, your efforts, everything that you have done for the culture. Thank you, Sister Jeanette. You always got a home with us here on the Culture and Black Star Network. You're always welcome here.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. And thank you so much for having me on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Folks.
All of your viewers.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. Thank you, sis. Folks, we got to take a quick pause. When we come forward, let's talk about Melanated Bar and talk to the two co-founders of this world-class Black skincare company and how they are breaking the boundaries of what Black skincare, talking about the beauty and value of Black skin next. Stay with us. That conversation is up next here on The Culture on the Black Star Network.
President Biden has delivered for Black America. More funding for Black entrepreneurs. Millions of new good-paying jobs. He's lowering the cost of medications and the cost of living. Joe Biden is delivering for us, and that's the facts.
Folks, Black Star Network is here.
Oh, no punches! I'm real revolutionary right now.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
Stay Black. I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, there's a difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?
I'm Farajii Muhammad, live from LA. And this is The Culture. The Culture is a two-way conversation. You and me. We talk about the stories, politics, the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. So join our community every day at 3 p.m. Eastern and let your voice be heard. Hey, we're all in this together. So let's talk about it and see what kind of trouble we can get into. It's The Culture, weekdays at 3, only on the Black Star Network.
When you talk about blackness and what happens in Black culture, we're about covering these things that matter to us, speaking to our issues and concerns.
This is a genuine people-powered movement.
There's a lot of stuff that we're not getting. You get it, and you spread the word.
We wish to plead our own cause. Too long have others spoken for us. We cannot tell our own story if we can't pay for it. This is about covering us. Invest in Black-owned media. Your dollars matter. We don't have to keep asking them to cover our stuff. So please support us in what we do, folks. We want to hit 2,000 people, $50 this month, raise $100,000. We're behind 100,000, so we want to hit that. Y'all money makes this possible. Check some money orders. Go to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. The Cash App is $RM Unfiltered. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle is Roland at RolandSMartin.com.
All right, folks, welcome back to The Culture here on the Black Star Network. I'm your host, Farajii Muhammad. Thank you so much for tuning in and participating in the conversation. Man, oh man, what a dynamic discussion we just had with our dear sister Jeanette Davis, author of the book, Black Survival in White America. And she just dropped so many jewels. And I really, really hope that you enjoyed what our sister had to say and just enjoyed the conversation in general. But guess what? We're continuing in that same spirit today, because we're talking to two other fantastic folks, two Black entrepreneurs, about the work that they're doing to break the barrier, to not just talking about surviving, but actually doing things that Sister Jeanette talked about, which is using our knowledge to empower ourselves. And this is part of the overall mission that our two next special guests is on. This is the track that they're on. I'm going to be talking to Sister Paula Dolores and Chris Gibbs, who are founders and owners of the Black-owned, family-operated skincare company based out of Chicago, Illinois, Melanated Bar, and they have officially reached $1 million in sales. There we go. Can we get a little something for them? Because Lisa, we can do something for them, because that's big in the Blacks. There we go. There we go.
And dance.
Paula and Chris, thank you so much for joining me this afternoon. There we go. You got to throw in the Beyonce horns, or I don't know, however you want to call it. It's all good. But thank you so much for joining us. First and foremost, congratulations on reaching $1 million in sales. You're a Black-owned, family-operated skincare company. And you're in Chicago. You're not out in some other place. You're in Chicago. Yes. Come on, you got to talk to me. Talk to me. What's going on here? What's up with Melanated Bar? How can we get in on what's cooking right now?
Yes. Well, first of all, thank you for having us. We are literally so grateful for you and your platform and sharing our business.
Absolutely.
I am Paula Dolores. This is my husband, Chris.
Hello.
And we are the co-owners of the Melanated Bar. It is a clean skincare line for melanated skin, just to help us feel beautiful in our skin. We create products that help with hyperpigmentation, dark spots on the skin. We don't use any harsh chemicals or any harsh ingredients in our skincare products either, because that's something that has been marketed towards Black people in their skin for decades and centuries. So we wanted to break that and start our own skincare line and just start valuing who we are and loving our skin.
So Chris and Paula, where did this come from? How did y'all get to the point to say we want to create a Black-owned, family-operated skincare? Because that's not just like kitchen talk, dining room talk, conversation. That's not like, hey, honey, this is great spaghetti. And you know what? Thinking of.
Yes.
So how did this come about?
Absolutely. So I started this business out of my own self-care. I was a new mom. I had 2 kids. I was young, and the stigma of being a young single Black mom just was really crushing me during the time. I didn't really find the energy to get up and do anything, but I know I had 2 baby girls that really needed me. My husband, not husband at the time, he was in St. Louis working, still trying to provide for us and everything. So I was in Chicago with them. And I was like, I can't really go to yoga. I didn't have that much money just to get up and go to yoga, and I did not have the energy. And so I was like, well, the only thing that I can do here today is start just taking care of my body and my skin. Postpartum, my skin, very dry, very crusty. All of my Mela babes know we do not like to be crusty, but my skin was very, very, very crusty. So I just started mixing products just for myself and for my babies. And my mom had company, and I left some product in her bathroom, and her company used it. And she was like, you should really start selling this. And me, I'm a hustler. It runs in our blood. My grandma was a hustler. My auntie was a hustler. Say less. So I put the products on Etsy. And after that, it was a wrap. I started pushing it to my family, pushing it to my friends. And the love and the embrace that they gave me was outrageous. It was just so crazy, where I didn't even expect them to even pay me anything, but they were sending me money, saying, send this here, send that here. Like, I need more. And honestly, it's just our family and friends put us on the map. And that's all I can say.
Right. So is this a retail space? Do y'all have like a retail shop in Chicago, and then you also have an online presence? What's the business model for Melanated Bar?
So right now we're solely e-commerce. So we're online right now. We're 2 to 3 days processing time. We are in front of our customers though. We are at several vendor events every year. Some of the bigger ones such as Essence, or the Black Women's Expo in Chicago, or Frizz Fest in St. Louis. So we're at the vendor events, and then we're e-commerce.
Yep.
That is awesome. So there is that process. There is that place of taking an idea and bringing it into fruition. So it's one thing to have your family and friends pump you up about your idea.
Right.
Be like, oh man, this is great. You got this. Y'all can sell this. You can bottle this. Y'all make $1 million. But then there's another level of discipline. There's another level of work. There's something else that happens to even get you to take you to being considered a business owner, to take what you have crafted and putting it out there on the market. Talk to us about that process.
So for me, it was when I had to stop doing what I was doing to help her. And so when I saw that she had enough orders to where she needed my assistance in every aspect, I knew then that she was creating something that was bigger than like a hobby, right? It was bigger than just we're selling on Etsy. Yeah. And I think for me, I went all in. When she needed my time from me working, right? Because she was at home, I was working. So when I had to come home or work from her or complete a workout and then go help her, I knew that what she was creating at the time, right, was going to be something bigger than we could all imagine. And then for you.
Yeah. So honestly.
So hey Paula, when did you tell your husband to quit his job?
So honestly, this was right around before we moved. So we moved a lot throughout this time. COVID affected it. Yep. My husband had just got laid off his job, and we went down to Florida with my parents. So since it was COVID, my grandfather at the time was living with them, and we couldn't go out the house. You know, he was looking for a job, and I was like, babe, you know what? Just stop looking. Don't worry about it. Like, we got this traction. Let's go hard. Let's see what we can do while the world is shut down. And then that's when all the traction started coming. I moved my website to Shopify, and, you know, I started marketing, sending emails, running Facebook ads. We started going to pop-up shops and stuff like that. And that's what really turns us from a hobby to a full functional business.
$1 million in sales. Now I got to take a quick pause. When we come forward, I want to hear, how did you get from a mom and pop, no disrespect, no shade on you, because this is, I'm going to just say hubby and wife type of operation, to a $1 million in sales. And if you just started during the pandemic, we're talking about within the last year and a half, maybe the last 2 years. And I'm not sure of the return on the investment for e-commerce businesses are, but I'm pretty sure like once you do like a brick and mortar type of store, you know, they say 3 to 5 years before you start to see a profit. But $1 million is not something to blink an eye and just be like, oh, they just did $1 million and said, that's very impressive. So we want to hear a little bit more about this, folks. We're talking to Paula Dolores and Chris Gibbs about Melanated Bar. This is a husband-wife team that has put out this fantastic skincare line for Black folks. It's Black owned, it's family operated, and it's a skincare line just for us. We're going to have more conversation about it. And of course, I would love to get your take on it. So stay with us. It's The Culture here on the Black Star Network.
On his first day in office, with the country in crisis, President Biden got to work for us. Cutting Black child poverty in half, more money for Black entrepreneurs, millions of new, good-paying jobs. He's lowered the cost of living and prescription drugs. But there's more to do. He gets it because we all deserve dignity, safety, respect, and a chance to do more than just get by, but to get ahead.
I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
Folks, Black Star Network is here.
Hold no punches. I'm real revolutionary right now.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
Stay black. I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, this difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?
I'm Farajii Muhammad, live from LA. And this is The Culture. The Culture is a two-way conversation. You and me. We talk about the stories, politics, the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. So join our community every day at 3 p.m. Eastern and let your voice be heard. Hey, we're all in this together. So let's talk about it and see what kind of trouble we can get into. It's The Culture, weekdays at 3, only on the Black Star Network.
When you talk about blackness and what happens in Black culture, we're about covering these things that matter to us, speaking to our issues and concerns.
This is a genuine people-powered movement.
There's a lot of stuff that we're not getting. You get it, and you spread the word.
We wish to plead our own cause. Too long have others spoken for us. We cannot tell our own story if we can't pay for it. This is about covering us. Invest in Black-owned media. Your dollars matter. We don't have to keep asking them to cover our stuff. So please support us in what we do, folks. We want to hit 2,000 people, $50 this month, raise $100,000. We're behind 100,000, so we want to hit that. Y'all money makes this possible. Check some money orders. Go to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. The Cash App is $RM Unfiltered. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle is Roland at RolandSMartin.com.
All right, folks, welcome back to The Culture here on the Black Star Network. I'm checking in with the co-founders, Paula Dolores and her husband, Chris Gibbs, as they serve as the founders of Melanated Bar. This is a Black-owned, family-operated skincare company based out of Chicago, Illinois. That's the website for them. They have officially reached $1 million in sales, and they are making a dent in the beauty industry, which is a very hard thing to do, folks, because if you look at some of the top things that Black people and more importantly, Black women invest in, beauty care, beauty products, skincare, these are that falls within the top 3 things that Black women put their money behind. So I'm so happy to be checking in with these dynamic folks to talk to us about their company, Melanated Bar, and the work that they put in. I want to throw something out there, Paula and Chris, because I think to give people some context about the things you've had to overcome to even get to this point. There was a study done, and according to the United States Census, the U.S. Census, it shows that 58% of Black businesses owners describe the health of their businesses at a quote unquote at risk or distress. And even before the pandemic, 8 out of 10 of every 10 Black businesses failed within the first 18 months.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So y'all are already at a point where you are kind of like breaking through the prophecy. You're not allowing that to be in a, what would you say attributed to that success? How did you get past that first 18 months, how are you finding yourself to be a business that is not concerned about the health of your business? Or are you concerned? I don't want to make the assumption. Are you still concerned that even though it's an e-commerce business, that it may not go the distance?
Yeah.
So very true. So what you said, I think, was important. Like, as a Black business, Black-owned business, even coming up, we reached out and tried to work with several other Black companies too, right? And what set us over the top was when Paula started putting systems in place, right? So you go to the email marketing, the text message marketing, the social media. Initially, we tried to reach out to other Black-owned companies who could help us in those areas. And I can be honest when I say most of those businesses don't exist right now anymore. And we've only been doing this for 2 or 3 years, right? So I think for us, it was when she brought me on, we put those systems in place. But by bringing me on, you take on a full salary, a full responsibility. And so, I'm like a bull when I come in, right? I think I know it all. And so being able to learn and grow, but also still have that same drive that I have if I was working my own job, and even getting on her nerves at times is really what kept us going, even when we did fail, or even when a relationship didn't work out. My thing is, when we wake up, we got to cut the lights on every day. We got to cut the lights on and we got to get moving. That was what probably set us apart from other businesses who don't make it out of that first 2 years. Because like I said, we work with other businesses, Black businesses, they don't exist anymore. So we definitely see that turnover in the market.
Yep, and I agree with him, definitely putting systems in place. But, to get past the 18 months, honestly, it was, showing up every day. The quality of our products are there, showing them before and after pictures on social media, going live, teaching our customers like how to use the products, but also why you should use the products. Because to be honest, I go to vendor shows. My husband could attest to this. We go to vendor shows every day and we meet women and men that say, I don't use anything on my skin. And although some of them don't have, hyperpigmentation and dark spots, I still have to tell them, like, just because your skin does look good doesn't mean it's healthy. So we have conversations and just educating people about like how to take care of their body. That makes them say, hey, you know what? They know what they're talking about. They know what they're doing and they care about me. And that really helped propel us forward as well, because we weren't just selling. We actually sat down and actually cared about our customers. And
absolutely.
And honestly, effective skincare tips that I could give people, because I know it's some people listening right now that's like, okay, I need to use soap to wash my face, like for real. Start basic. I tell people every day, start basic. Wash your face, moisturize, SPF. Those 3 things can make a world of the difference, because we think that our skin looks good and it's healthy, but it's really not. And then that's how you get diseases. That's how, cancer comes about from the sun. That's how you get hyperpigmentation. And then don't even let me get into when your skin is affected, it affects your mental health as well. And so now we got a whole spiral going on. And I just want to stand in the midst of it all and just help pull you out of it. So and they appreciate it. And that really helped us get past that 18 months.
Now that is awesome. Zavago checked in and said, please now come with the bar without the melanated part and get all the money. We have to think past for us, by us. What's your take on that? When people say, it might sound too Black.
Yeah, so, okay, I'm going to be very raw and authentic with this.
Keep it 100, Paula. Keep it 1,000.
I'm going to keep it 1,000. So when I first named my business the Melanated Bar, I was like, okay, you know what? Black woman. That's who I want to serve. That's who I want to see. And a part of me during the first 18 months and even some of the years afterwards, and even still now today, deep down, I'm like, I could make so much more money if I didn't call my brand the Melanated Bar. So it really took a lot out of me, like, not to change my name, because I do have white people every day, say, hey, this product looks good, but look, they got all Black and brown people on their website. But it wasn't until I literally had to sit down, back to me being a young mom with 2 Black kids and not that representation on TV with these other skincare products. I was like, I don't care. I'm here to serve my people at this time. That's not to say in the future I won't start another skincare company or a body care company or a hair company. It just tells me that my people are in need right now, and that's who I need to serve. So I was able to, get past that mindset roadblock and, just keep my people at the forefront of it all.
Absolutely. Republicrat said caring about the customers will keep your business going and make lots of money. Here's and I think that's true, but I think it opens the door. And I know we got a few moments left, but I wonder, do you feel the weight of the industry? Well, really the weight of the expectations of the culture that as a black owned business, a married couple, that you got to take on this movement to redefine business relations, to redefine how you do business in a very competitive market. Do y'all feel that weight, or do y'all just like, man, whatever, we do our business the way we need to do it? Or do you want to be like a symbol? You know what I'm saying? A symbol of where we can go with the culture and with our brilliance.
I think it's a bit of both. We definitely want to set that example for other Black entrepreneurs and other skincare companies, to stay true to your values, stay true to why you started your company. But we also do get that pressure, like, whew, this is a lot to take on. Like, having to go up against, other big established brands, and try to get their customers from them and bring them in on our own. We do feel the pressure, but I think that's something that we both agree that we're ready for. We look forward to it. We're a company that actually does care about our customers. That's why I call them the Mela Babes, because they're my babes. Like even the men, we call them Mela Bros because they're my brothers. So
the Mela, wait a minute, hold on, Paula. We can't just drop no jewel like that on the culture and talk about what do you call us?
So I call the girls the women Mela Babes and the brothers Mela Bros. Mela Bros. Yes. Yes.
I'm a Mela Bro.
You a Mela Bro. Drop your Addy so we can send you a care package. Cause we got men skincare products coming soon, real soon.
I've been called a lot of things, but
yes. So
I'm a Mela Bro.
We're ready.
Hey Chris.
I see it.
Chris, I'm your Mela Bro.
Yes.
No, definitely.
That's awesome. That is absolutely awesome. Yes, I'll definitely send you my information because I want to Mela Bro it up. I want to do a whole thing like, my skincare. I want to glow.
I did just get a question, and it was, will we branch into makeup? That is something that we are looking to take on. I'm not saying right now, but our biggest thing that we do want to expand into is SPF.
Yeah.
Black people think they don't need to wear SPF, and that's a problem.
No, that's yeah, that's true.
Skin cancer affects any complexion. It doesn't matter. And then even with hyperpigmentation, you don't wear sunblock, the dark spots are only going to get darker. Mm-hmm. So we are open to, conversations with future investors, mentors, anybody that has any expertise in, developing products. We are looking for those relationships to start building, just to really expand our product line as well. But the makeup is definitely coming because we don't need a whole lot once you take care of your melanin. So I'm talking eyebrow stuff, mascara, lip stuff.
Come on.
Light concealer.
Come on. Come on. I'm on TV. I need something.
Yes, I got you. Coming.
I need something. Yeah. All right, so very quickly, because I know we got to wrap up. All right, so what is the key to having, Paula, you got your husband, and your husband, he's already say he's like a bull in some way, right? He comes through and he got his ideas, he got his thoughts and stuff, but he also showed a great sense of self-awareness where he understands like, this is the role that I need to play. This is the role that my wife needs to play. So what's the key to success of working with your spouse, your significant other, especially when you're always, trying to cultivate another baby and you got children? Talk to us about that. How do you balance it all? She looking at Chris. She like, balance. See, Chris don't be balancing nothing.
You go ahead, babe.
So I think I've learned as a male to communicate more and communicate up front, right? And so a lot of times
I can't take y'all. Wait a minute, hold on, man. This is too much black love, man. I can't take this, man. I can't take this. I can't take this level like, yo, I need to know that there's love and depth. Come on, bro. Come on, Chris. I need you to be a little bit more ignorant for the culture, brother.
He said keep it real.
No, I do. So, like when I say I turn the lights on, yes, I drag her out of bed, I drag the kids, I drop them off at school, I throw her in the warehouse, and we get going. Like I turn on the lights every day. But I tell them the day before, this is what we're doing tomorrow. So I'm open about the communication because we have a lot of moving parts with everything that we have going on. So I have to be open because the minute I'm not talking, then I'm just dragging them out of bed. You know, they're women. They're going to ask why. And a lot of times I don't have time for why. We just got to get moving. You know what I mean? And so like, let's just go. And so that's for me. It's like the communication and then, getting up and getting moving. And
then also to add, understanding each other. I have days where, like he said, I can't get up. Like I'm just exhausted. And he's like, babe, come on. We got bills to pay. In a nice way. In a nice way. And then even when times, Farajii. And even some days, like it's hard. Like we live together, we work together, we're married. Like some days I'm so upset with him, y'all. Like upset with him. But I need
Is he still, wait a minute, when you upset though, Paula, is he still a mellow bro or you got some other names for him?
I can't say the words.
This is a family program. This is a family show.
But I'm so upset at him, but it's a big 35-pound gallon of oil. And I'm like, you know what, babe, go get this oil. And he'll go get it. Like, the fights don't stop the business. We still try to work together. It's not easy, but we make it do. And we just live a philosophy of get in where you fit in. Yep. If I'm missing in the gap, he gonna come fill it in. Yep. If I need help with bubble wrapping,
that's beautiful.
Our kids come and helping it, and I got footage of them wrapping it, and they've been fired multiple times.
You fire everybody.
But it's a family affair. The biggest
that's awesome.
Keep love and respect at the forefront of it all, and God number one at the forefront of it all, and that's what keep us going.
That is awesome. You know what? I cannot thank y'all enough, man. Y'all are absolutely phenomenal. And I really hope and pray the best for you. I will certainly send you the address because I want to be a mellow bro so bad right now. So it's like, but more importantly, I think that this is just the beginning of something very, very beautiful. You guys, the energy, the love, and more importantly, what you're bringing to the culture is so important and so necessary. So again, folks, this is Paula. This is her husband, Chris. The company is called Melanated Bar. Go to their website today. You can take a look at everything they offer, the products, all of the good stuff. And they are a Black-owned, family-operated skincare company based in Chicago, Illinois. And they really are doing something really spectacular for the culture. And guess what, folks? They just they officially have reached $1 million in sales. There we go. So that's what I'm talking about. Paula, Chris, I thank you so much for sharing with us so much of your story, but more importantly, doing this service for us, for our people, making sure that we are in a better space for health and wellness. Again, is there any other information that we need to know about Melanated Bar? Y'all have any upcoming events, any pop-ups that folks need to know about?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are kind of done with vendor season this year, thank God, because it's so crazy. But if you need anything, our inbox is always open. We are on social media platforms, every single one, The Melanated Bar. Our website, themelanatedbar.com. You can shoot us an email. It's Chris at The Melanated Bar, Paula at The Melanated Bar. And if you got skincare questions, just go to the website and chat us. Like, I'm like, hey girl, or hey bro. Like it's very informal around here. We're all family. So just reach out so we can help you and fill in where needed.
There it is right there. There it is right there. I know your family is very proud of you. Your parents must be super proud of each one of you. So y'all got something very, very special. And so we're going to do our part to make sure that you get the support that you need here from the culture and the Black Star Network. But more importantly, thank you for being so good for the culture. And I look forward to reconnecting with y'all soon. Oh, yeah, definitely. I'm going to do a little video once we get the care package, I'm gonna do a little video. I gotta do the skincare joint.
Yes.
It's coming. It's coming. I'm gonna definitely be a mellow bro.
We love it.
I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much, Paula. Thank you, Chris. We truly appreciate you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Man, oh man, what a fantastic show. Folks, I got to stop it right there because we spent a little extra time. But I thank you, crew, for checking in and spending a little extra time with us here on The Culture. Man, oh man, let's give a big shout out to Paula and Chris who are doing fascinating things, dynamic things with Melanated Bar. Make sure y'all go support them. Also, big shout out to our sister Jeanette Davis for putting out that fantastic scholarly work of Black survival in white America. You just never know who we're going to talk to here on The Culture. All right, I got to do my due diligence, get out the way so you can get prepared for Roland Martin Unfiltered, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Just go to our website, blackstarnetwork.com. Download the app for free, folks. Follow us on social media, and we are always looking for your financial support here on Black Star Network. So we need your support today. It is your support that helps to keep power this momentum, this movement of digital media in this Black space. So again, go to our website today at blackstarnetwork.com. Make sure y'all follow me. I'm at The Real Farajii. I need some more Instagram followers, man. Like my followers are a little sleep right now. So I need some more Instagram followers. Follow me at The Real Farajii on Instagram, on Twitter at Farajii, and on Threads. I'm on there at The Real Farajii, and on Facebook at Farajii Muhammad. But I would love to connect with you, Bill, and continue to be a part of the community of our great culture crew and so much more. So just follow me on social media as well. That's going to do it for me. I thank my team, Joel, Shannon, Chris, Maddie, Lise, and my man King Keenan for making us look and sound so good. Stay tuned. Up next is Roland Martin Unfiltered. As always, never be afraid to challenge what's wrong. Stand for what's right while being yourself in the process. God willing, we will talk tomorrow for another exciting edition of The Culture right here, only here, exclusively here on the Black Star Network. Talk to you soon. Peace.